First, let's get started and talk about shopping and the feeling we get after indulging in a shopping experience. A New York Times piece points to something interesting. People are feeling differently about buying. Fast fashion has made clothes feel disposable, buy, wear a few times, forget about it. That cycle has left a lot of people tired. There's guilt after repeat purchases, anxiety around keeping up, and a sense that closets are full, but satisfaction isn't. So buying less is starting to feel like control. And this shift didn't happen overnight. Sustainability concerns are growing. Post-pandemic shopping spikes led to burnout. Wardrobes expanded fast, but the excitement didn't last. And for many, buying more stopped feeling rewarding. Closets are crowded, clothes go unworn, big purchases are followed by regret, and that overload creates stress, not joy. Decluttering for some feels like relief now. So what are people looking forward to instead? Quality is being judged differently. It's less about loud branding and more about fabric, stitching, and how long something actually lasts. Timeless design is preferred and subtlety is seen as value. Here's where it gets interesting. Quality has become a social signal. Buying better is framed as good taste. Restraint signals confidence. Psychologists as well have quoted in the piece saying buying less can reduce stress. Interesting, isn't it? Fewer choices and less regret with more emotional clarity, they say. In fact, for many, it is about thinking less about what they own. It's also something that has constantly felt like a red flag now. Quality itself is turning into a trend. Moral buying can slip into performance. High prices don't always mean better clothes. Even luxury brands, remember, are being questioned. And when quality gets overused, it risks losing meaning. Which brings us to the big questions we're going to be taking up this morning on The Breakfast Club. Is quality a real standard or just a feeling? Are people truly buying less or just buying differently? To really decode this, unpack all of this rapid trend that's being witnessed across the country, we're being joined by Reena Singh, founder of Eka, and the second speaker this morning is Kriti Tula, founder of Doodlage, both working closely with conscious fashion and sustainable design. Good morning to the both of you. Thank you for taking out the time and being with us. Reena, if I can begin with you. You've spoken how meaningful fashion is the need of the hour, is what should be encouraged every now and then. But speaking of this one report that's spoken of how people are truly placing faith now in meaningful purchases that long last and not just hype around the impulsive, fast fashion that we've seen through the years. What do you make of that one study, that one analysis, and do you personally think that is happening worldwide?
Well, I really wouldn't know whether it is happening worldwide or not, but I definitely do think that people are consuming and buying less so far as fashion is concerned. Because I think in the last decade, we've just overdone things in fashion, whether it was marketing, communication, purchasing, consumerism was literally at an all-time high. Although as a country, we always sort of believed and stood for sustainability, kind of textiles that we have worn, that we've seen in our mothers' wardrobes and our grandmothers' wardrobes were the kind of things that were made with like a year of hard work, the yarns, the techniques, the textiles were really special. Therefore, there would be like one patola sari in like somebody's, like if you see families would have like one pure patola or one pure zari sari, and that was passed on to the daughters or daughter-in-laws, whatever. So I think we as a country always believed in it. Of course, when it comes to fashion over the world, I think after the world wars, we got carried away, but good sense had to prevail. And I'm just happy to hear that it is a trend that's happening across the world. I, for one, started my label Eka almost like a decade and a few years ago, always believing in sustainability, not just as a trend, but I think it is something that we as a country and people should stand by and focus more anyhow on buying less.
And Kriti would be in agreement 100% with you. So Kriti, what are your thoughts? Let's really get you into the conversation and ask you whether you think customer mindset is moving towards what you've truly believed in all these years and what your model is essentially premised on. Do you think people are buying lesser, looking at quality more, and more than quality, really looking at longevity in clothing as well?
Thanks for having me, firstly. I think there's a big divide in the extreme patterns of consumption. You'd also see at the same time Sheins and Temos coming up and becoming mammoths in uh, less than 5, 6 years of their existence. So you would, and on the other hand, there's a conversation around sustainability. There's a consumer need and shift in asking and questioning brands and also observing as to what they're buying. So there is a niche that's more concerned about what's happening in the world and finally connecting the pieces of how fashion is connected to everything that we eat, breathe, disparity in society, the way economies functions, and is not treated as a frivolous, industry of I am just buying clothes. It's not connected to anything else. So I think over the last decade, media has played a big role in bridging that gap between how passion is connected to everything that we consume. Everybody around us is impacted and affected by what we buy, and clothes, when you buy, just do not sort of, like you said, dispose or go away. So I think all of those trends and conversations are becoming more and more effective. The younger generation, who's a lot more connected to these stories and are a lot more affected by things that are happening around the world, are finally seeing for what it is and slowing down in terms of consumption, which is when a lot more brands like Doodledge or Eka need to sort of channelize and come forward with solutions that consumer can purchase into for different stratas of the society as well. So people just need to slow down, like brands need to slow down, provide alternatives to the growing consumption pattern of better quality and connecting stories of who's making your clothes, why are you paying, what are you paying, building transparency, etc. And just making better supply chains.
Okay, lovely. So we've started with the opening remarks already. Speaking of quality, because that's one thing that this report essentially keeps talking about every paragraph. Reena, how do you define quality? We've spoken of sustainability. Is it that? Is it longevity? Is it the kind of skill, the craft that goes into the fabric? What is it for you?
I think definitely it has to be well-made product. It has to be well-made and made with the right kind of materials. I personally really don't use any kind of man-made materials that is difficult to dispose of. So personally for me and for my brand, actually all the natural fibers and yarns that existed like 100 years ago are things that I kind of innovate with or work with even today. And I work with some techniques that are that are legacy to carry forward into the future, and they come from a very intelligent past. I think this kind of intelligence is going to make its way into the future. And all of this was actually paying attention because it was a slow life and people had all the time to really do things more mindfully, using more materials from their natural environment, from their local environment. Actually, if you see all the kind of textiles wherever they are made in India even, so you see that the entire ecosystem kind of comes together to build that textile. It's not just the skill set of the weaver, it's also the climatic conditions, it's the water supply, it's the kind of sunlight they get. So depending on what the ecosystem in that particular geographical area is, that particular textile emerges out of that. And therefore now we have the industry kind of guarding it with the GI tag and things and stuff. But I think in times like today, if people like me who are aware of what this kind of a textile technique or a craft language does to a particular kind of a textile, I'm aware of it and I'm carrying it forward into the future, building newer stories with it, engaging newer audiences, connecting the whole world with it, and not really just telling a sob story, but a really quality story where we don't really put the weavers or the people who make it in front of the others to say that we can make this for you. Instead, say that this is the kind of product which is made in a country like this by people like that, and everything glorifies. It's not just the brand, but I think how it is made, who made it, where it is made. Once people are interested in the product, once they love, like and want to buy the product as an invest in it and not just like for the cosmetic value of it, I think once they're invested in it, then they really want to ask questions that who made it, where was it made, and how is it made. So the first point of interaction is really definitely the whole of the quality of the content, which is your communication, your marketing, your shows, your campaigns. It has to be a standard and a level where the whole world is going to get engaged with it. So not really just not just storytelling for the audience closer to us, but across the world, so that we are bridging those gaps and building in more information, and just building in more bridges for people
One
around
question
the world.
that would pop up every now and then, this conversation is had, is if you opt for better quality, if you opt for products, for clothes, for fabrics that have or are a result of high skill, of high craftsmanship, does that not shoot up the price of the product automatically? And in that sense, is this phenomena not just restricted to the ones who can afford it, to the privileged? How would you clarify that? How would you come in on that?
To be honest, prices for things that are made, I personally feel that anything that is really mass produced, the quality is always deteriorated. Whether it is food, whether it is even travel, in the end, by the end of it, we always stand and we question ourselves, do we really need to do this? Because we can do more and more of everything, literally, but do we really need it? Do we need that much communication? Do we need that much information? Do we need to travel that much? Do we really need to consume that much? So everything that is slow made and well made actually should come at a price that justifies it. How much value you want to add in it as a designer, I think that's very subjective. That depends, who's the consumer that I'm targeting, who's the person who I'm speaking to, what's my audience. It can start from whatever level, but I don't think well-made things are meant to be I really don't know how to say this, but it's not meant to come cheap. It's not meant to be bought in bulk, like buy four and get four
Which means
situation.
buying less can never become a mainstream.
I don't think so.
Correct.
It should become mainstream. You should only buy what you need. You should buy things that you can keep. You should buy things that you can cherish and carry forward and make new memories in. I always say that for the woman of Eka, it is not just the clothes for celebration. It's clothes for her grief. It's the clothes that, she can wear the same clothes when she is when she's becoming a mother, when she's writing a thesis, when she's a researcher, when she's traveling the world, when she's presenting herself. So these are the kind of clothes that you live your life in. And it's not just for one moment that you wear it and you don't want to repeat it for the cameras again. So in that sense, I can say that maybe we are not really catering to the red carpet where once you're photographed and then you can't really indulge in that garment again.
Okay.
I personally think that well-made things should make a story for you again in your lifetime.
Okay, lovely thought. Kriti, you work at the intersection of fashion and waste. They're two very different worlds. Why do you think impulse buying has become so deeply ingrained in the way we shop today? And how much of the onus lies on social media and virality?
I think fashion as a stream became fast with the idea of impulse buying, virality. It was important for marketers to get people back to the shop floor to buy more. And this is where the trend over the last 100 years have come from, right? That, every time you buy, you'll feel this joy in your heart, retail therapies, buy more, don't think about, what happens to the clothes at the end of it. And sitting at, like you said, the intersection of building or designing for circularity is more important than ever. There are so many reports that says that we've created enough for the next 6 generations, for example. And if nothing is made anymore, we'll still have enough clothes on this planet to serve the next 6 generations to come, which is a lot to say. So it's not that we're producing anymore for clothing as a need. We're producing still because we need to run the economy. So now it's important to look at alternatives. Like Eka said, that it's important to look at slowing down and serve different stratas of the economy. Like, it's not important to find your brand. When you are looking at slowing down, it doesn't necessarily have to mean buying more. If you think it's not in your budget, look at alternatives like thrifting. Look at alternatives like, swapping. If that is your problem, that it's not financially affordable for consuming slow fashion. So slow fashion can mean so many things to so many people. Save money and buy things that you, or brands that you really want to back, or understand stories of your clothes and keep
But
them
you
for
see that
longer and
shift in
longer.
people's mindset over the years. Have you
Yes,
seen conscious buying go up in numbers?
in the last decade, which is when I started the brand, definitely there's a shift in consumer consumption. There's a bigger niche that is looking at alternatives, which allows them to connect with stories. But obviously, there's a much larger chunk which is still subjected to so much conversations around buying and buying more. It's important to stop and think what happens to the clothes. Even for larger brand, circularity is something that is important to design for. Most clothes that are being designed for are still not recyclable, are still not, like, even if they get collected, they will end up being burnt because we don't have enough solutions for mixed yarns, etc., available at scale. So it's important to analyze clothing and fashion and your buying habits from an angle of what happens to the clothes after you discard them.
Okay, if customers were to stop buying on impulse tomorrow, Reena, how is that going to evolve or change the fashion industry, let's say in 5 years from now? And we'll wrap up this conversation on that note. If that were indeed to become a reality tomorrow, what kind of a larger impact do you see on the fashion industry, on the economy overall?
Stop, well, that's very ambitious to say that we'll stop indulging in beauty. I think one way or the other, consumerism is also connected to how much we indulge in beauty in our everyday lives. See, largely, I think the world is not really progressing in that sense. We are doing everything with AI and, whatever future we are approaching into, but I don't think we are doing the right things mindfully. More and more, where this is leading us, this conversation, even where is it leading us, is that what is it that we want to find beauty in the future? What is it that we're going to talk about when we say that we want that joy? What is it that we are seeking in our everyday lives? Is it careers that bring us, more joy in our everyday, socializing with the kind of people that we want to be with? Or what is it that we're pursuing? I think clothes is just one aspect of it, but there's so much other. So I think largely as a people, we are going to always find means to kind of cater to our lives with filling it with beauty. Clothes would be one aspect of it. And making things that can last forever and bring you joy, I think is my intention really with my label. I'll continue to do that. I think very small little effort, but I think it's going to really be meaningful into
and
the
would
future.
would you have a quick tip for anyone staring at the wardrobe right now, realizing that it's overflowing, really wanting to do something about it, but not really being able to give into that thought and implement that thought because of whatever pressures that they're carrying with them?
Oh, sorry, I didn't understand this question. Do you mean that how do they simplify the wardrobe, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
I think
sometimes you want to, but you're not able to, given whatever
So-
societal pressures, trends.
Yeah, this
you
is a
need to
large,
keep up.
actually that's again the thing. I feel that it's really a larger question for us, really media, to ask women that who are you really? Who are you when nobody is watching you and you're just watching yourself? Is this the piece that you would wear again and again?
Yeah.
Is it something that you would wear like 5 times in a month perhaps? And those are the kind of pieces that you should indulge in. Just find the person you are and then maybe just find variations of it. Then I don't think anybody is going to buy things that tomorrow they're not going to feel beautiful in when they look at themselves again.
Choose outfits
in a
that make
photograph
you
or in the
feel
mirror,
more
yeah.
aligned with yourself.
100%.
And it's
I
less
think
about
that
showing off.
it definitely starts with brands building that kind of a woman in their language, media building that kind of a woman in their, perspective of women everywhere, in all conversations. So I think it's a larger conversation to be had, but definitely women looking at themselves more than others looking at them is a starting point to really start to make wardrobe more believable for themselves.
Well, traditionally, luxury and quality were paired, and thanks to entrepreneurs like Reena and Kriti, that's slowly changing and hopefully will keep changing for good. Thank you so much to the both of you for joining us this morning on the Breakfast Club and taking that conversation forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
for
us.